Let's talk about breathing. You know that it's important for obvious reasons, but it's really common that people simply forget to breathe when they work out because they're focusing on their form and they're activating their muscles and then listening to their body and then watching for all of those little signals to be able to make sure that they're still staying in control and have quality reps. The truth is, when you're training, there's a lot to focus on, but breathing needs to stay at the top of your awareness because there are a lot of consequences for forgetting to breathe. You can get dizzy and lightheaded. Your muscles can cramp up. Your blood pressure can go up. You can find your performance actually hits a wall and your strength and power just suddenly don't seem to be there. You might even experience anxiety or a panic. You can lose control of your balance and form. And all of these mean that you can increase your risk of injury. So clearly, breathing properly isn't the kind of skill that's a nice to have. It's actually an essential tool that actually separates the rookies from the experienced. Breathing while you actually train is something that can eventually become an unconscious skill that just functions in the background. That said, it does take conscious practice and repetition to get to that point when you're physically training because there's actually a method to it. It matters when you inhale and exhale. And this lesson will equip you with the basics of breathing when you train so that you know how to time your breaths with the most common moves that you're likely to do during complete workouts. In your normal day-to-day life, you don't think about your breathing. It just happens for you. But the sequence and timing of your breaths when you're training is different. So don't be surprised if you initially feel a little uncoordinated with this and stop to think about it. We've also given you a place on page 102 and 103 of your playbook where you can add your notes to these diagrams. You'll want to write there because it'll make it easier for you to remember how to optimize your performance when you actually train and move your body. There are quite a few advantages of breathing how we're recommending. You'll be able to lift heavier, longer, and smarter during your sets and reps. It means you'll be contributing to staying injury-free and feeling good. It means you'll be able to confidently focus and coordinate all your priorities while you train to achieve your goals. Okay, so on page 102 and 103, we're going to cover 3 breathing patterns for very common activities that you'll be doing to improve your strength and cardiovascular health. So first, let's start by talking about the most effective approach. When you're training, you want to inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth when you're driving through resistance and giving effort. We're going to cover some examples of what it means to drive through resistance and give effort in a moment, so hang tight. For most exercises, you'll use the following pattern because you face resistance when your body is pushing the weight up or away. For example, you'll use the breathing pattern on page 102 when you do exercises like kickbacks, bench press, lunges and step-ups, squats and deadlifts, hip thrust, rows and pulls, and sit-ups. The similarity all of these exercises have in common is that you first go or move down in some type of way. And when you move down, you're controlling the weight from dropping and falling as it's pulled by gravity. And during that time, while you're focused and engaged and your muscles are activated, that is when you inhale. And then you reach the bottom of the move where you can't go down anymore. So then it's time to come back up. And when you move up, you're pushing and driving yourself or the weight up. That is when you exhale, because exhaling gives you that extra boost to be able to move that resistance. So in the circle that you see here on page 102, please write the following. By step 1, you'll write inhale. Because for these exercises, this is when your body is moving down and you're controlling the weight and preventing it from simply falling from gravity. Then step number 2, you'll write drive/give effort. And this is when you are actually using your power, strength, or effort to be able to push and lift the weight. Next, step 3, you'll write exhale. Because when you're driving and giving the effort, you're moving the weight. And that's when you actually need that extra boost of energy. And finally, in step 4, you'll write listen/evaluate, because this is when you listen to the signs that your body is telling you and you evaluate whether or not you still have enough energy to do another rep without losing control. This makes more sense when you experience this, and it does take some practice to be able to develop the physical coordination. So just stick with this because eventually it's going to click. Let's do a quick imaginary training so that you can get some practice right now. We're going to do the breathing pattern while we simulate squats and bench press. And that will be so helpful because it will let you begin to bring all of these concepts together so that your breathing is actually dialed in during your next workout. The way this actually works is like this. And I want you to actually stand up so that you can follow along and do it with me. It doesn't matter how deep you're able to move down right now. Just do this motion to the best of your abilities and focus on your breathing. First, get in a position like this for an air squat and make sure your feet are just outside a shoulder width apart. Raise your arms as straight in front of you as you can. Now, check your posture. Chin up, eyes direct, shoulders back. Tighten your core like we practiced before. Now you're focused and engaged, so you're ready to start the move. Begin going down like this and inhale through the nose so you get a nice full breath in. At the bottom of your squat, wherever it is, come back up. And now your body is driving to come back up, and you're exhaling, slowly releasing your breath and pushing through the resistance. After you finish exhaling, you should be back in the starting position. And this is where you're listening to your body's signs and evaluating. Do you have enough strength and energy to control another quality rep? If yes, you'll do it again. If no, you'll start your rest period. So shake out your arms and legs and get yourself back into position for another squat. And let's just repeat the same exact thing 5 times right now for 5 more squats. And just like I'm exaggerating it and breathing quite loud, I want you to do the same because it'll actually help you notice and begin developing a new skill. Great job. Now let's shake it out. All right, let's do some imaginary training for bench press. In a gym, you would lay on a bench. So for now, if you're at home, you can just lay down on any flat surface. And you're welcome to bring your feet up like mine so that your back is nice and flat. So you're going to put your arms up here like this. And imagine that you're holding a bar that has weight plates on either side. First, you're going to lower your arms. This is when you're inhaling through the nose. And remember, exaggerate it and be a little noisy so you can actually really notice that inhale. Now at the bottom, as your elbows touch the ground, this is where you need to drive. Now you're in step 3, when you exhale through your mouth. And now at the top, it's time to evaluate your situation. If you have enough energy and strength to do another rep, you'll do it. Otherwise, you'll rack the weight and you'll take that rest period. Let's do 5 together right now. Go down and inhale and drive up and exhale. That's 1. Go down and inhale, drive up and exhale. That's 2. Go down and inhale, drive up and exhale. That's 3. Great. Go down and inhale, drive up and exhale. That's 4. Go down and inhale, drive up and exhale. That's 5. Well done completing that set. Okay, so you've just experienced that particular breathing pattern for exercises where you need to drive through resistance when the weight is going up. It's very valuable for you to begin developing coordination with this because it prepares you to manage increasingly heavy amounts of weight. So obviously, it's worth it to be able to repeat this part of the video again tomorrow. You should also practice the breathing pattern while you do the other exercises on this page. Because even though the breathing pattern is the same, you need opportunities to get coordinated and confident with this type of multitasking. That way, the next time that you're actually holding real weights, you'll be much more prepared and your breath will be there. Now, let's flip over the page to 103 for the second breathing pattern. For some exercises, you'll use the following pattern because the pulling or pushing motions creates resistance. This is true for exercises like pull downs and push downs, pull-ups, and also the seated row. The reason these exercises are different from the ones on page 102 is because your body's relationship to the weight is different. So in this circle, by step 1, you'll write inhale, and notice the arrow is moving up here, not down. Then by step 2, you'll write drive/give effort. By step 3, you'll write exhale. And notice that the arrow here is going down. And by step 4, you'll write evaluate/listen. So it's the same process that we did before. Inhale, drive and give effort, exhale and listen, evaluate. But your body's relationship to the weight is different. And that's why we're going to do another quick imaginary training so you can experience this breathing pattern for a pull down. Just quickly imagine that you're sitting on a cable machine like you see me doing here. The weight stack is that thing down below. This means that when you pull down like this, it's heavy, and I'm dealing with the resistance of lifting that weight stack. And when I extend my arms up like this, I'm putting the weight stack back down in a controlled way. So sit on a chair with your feet planted wide, flat on the ground, so that you're very stable. Imagine there's a grab bar above your head, and you grab it with both hands, about shoulder width apart. And remember, check your posture. Chin up, eyes forward, shoulders back. Also, activate your core. And now you're engaged and you're ready to put in the effort by doing the move. And if you didn't do it yet, inhale now so that you've actually got oxygen in your lungs ready to go. You're going to pull down and exhale. And as you go up with your arms, you're going to inhale. Pause briefly to listen and find out if you can do another rep. And if the answer is yes, then go down and exhale. Go up and inhale. And let's do a few more to be able to complete a set. Down and exhale. Up and inhale. 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 Great job. You've just experienced how the sequence of inhaling and exhaling is the same, but it just depends on your body's relationship to the weight. It does take some practice to get used to this, and it's worth doing this kind of imaginary training if it's a high priority for you to stay safe and avoid injuries. And finally, let's talk about the last breathing pattern. When you're running, jogging, and doing dynamics or any other cardio, you want to rhythmically inhale and exhale with smooth and controlled power, regardless of your speed. So for this imaginary training, stand up and you're going to jog lightly in place and move your arms and legs. And regardless of how fast you're moving, you want to inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth like this. Can you hear how smooth and rhythmic that is? I'm not raggedly breathing or gasping. I'm staying in control. So it's your turn. If you haven't started yet, lightly jog and do the same kind of rhythmic inhaling and exhaling that you just heard me do. And remember, breathing in this kind of rhythmic and controlled way requires practice and awareness. Even I still continue to work on that when I run to this day. So don't judge yourself and build on your success. It can take hundreds of repetitions to really lock in automatic accuracy with your breathing patterns. Like I said, I still notice when my rhythm is off and make adjustments. So be patient with yourself and stay focused with encouraging messages about whatever progress you do see. And most importantly, keep on practicing. It is well worth your time and effort because all of this will translate into a stronger cardiovascular system that will have a huge impact on your strength endurance, like your VO2 max, which, as we mentioned before, is one of the best predictors for longevity and quality of life, especially as we gain in years. Enjoy your breath.